You want me just to start? Okay. Welcome to the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
That's Ashley.
That's Kim. We're here to recap and relive our favorite moments of episode 5, Business Proposal, with you, our listeners.
We're going to jump right in because I don't know what's happening right now. So if you haven't yet, make sure you go and watch the episode before you join us back here and listen to this podcast.
Welcome to the KDrama Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
We're here to unpack your all-time favorite Korean dramas and chat about all the reasons that we find these shows so charming.
And so addictive. And we know you do too, so settle in with some ramen and a boba tea while we dive into the KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram at the KDrama Show. Follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whichever one you listen to. We're also on YouTube. And we've been doing some polls after, the end of an episode, so please make sure you're giving us feedback on that so we can kind of know if you're liking the direction we're going or if there's maybe other things that you guys are looking for.
Okay. Business Proposal, Episode 5. First topic is called Mousetrap. TaeMoo knows that Shinhari is Shin GeumHui, and he's livid about it, which understandably
Fair.
so. But he is currently in his office, and he's looking over her employee application, and he's flipping through it. He's like, how did I miss this? It was right under my nose this whole time, and she made a fool out of me on purpose, right? That's his whole thing. And he's kind of reeling over the fact that she's just been playing him for a fool while he was actually developing, genuine feelings for her.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a whole brand new experience for him, and now he feels stupid. But he takes it out on doll Hottie from the concert, and he's shaking her and tosses her aside, which is a little scary, not gonna lie. But he starts his mission to catch her in this lie, and he asks to meet her near her workplace, which, as part of her story, is way the heck across. I don't remember if it was Korea or town or what. It was an hour or so away from where she is.
Right.
And so they're sitting down, and he starts to grill her about her personal life, since she pretty much knows everything there is to know about him, right, for the fake date with his grandfather. And he knows zero about her. So he starts to ask, what does your name mean? And she fires it off, and he's like, well, narts, couldn't catch you there. And he ends up dragging her along, or trying to drag her along to a meeting at Go Foods, saying that, I have to meet with Team 2. And she goes, Team 2, okay. And he goes, yeah, can I give you a ride home before I go? And she's like, nope, I'm just gonna head off in this direction. That's fine. But that brings us into topic 2, which is called revenge.
So she's insanely late to this meeting because she's had to also go completely across town and change back into normal. Mm-hmm. And TaeMoo has begun his revenge by making Hari redo the kimchi ravioli, which has been her project. And he wants her to cut the cost by 20% while still maintaining the quality of the food. And it is solely her responsibility. Yikes. So when Secretary Cha asks him, why do you want her to redo this? TaeMoo's like, I'm the company president and I want to. We're just being a petty child completely right now. And Secretary Cha points out, there was a lot of emotion in that interaction. And this is when TaeMoo informs him that Shinhari is also Shin GeumHui. And which also shocks Secretary Cha. He was not expecting that. And TaeMoo's decided that he's going to make her regret it. And Hari is doing her best to complete this task and is rejected every single attempt over and over and over. Even getting to the point where she has it in the hallway and he just walks by and goes, again, no. So she finally gets upset with him and asks him, what exactly do you want me to do? And I need you to give me a detailed list of, your expectations so that no one's time is being wasted.
And I love when he's just like, no, you just need to keep doing it. And then her silent scream into the void as he walks away from her.
Just
I felt that.
What? make me cry.
But that brings us into topic 3, which is called invitation. So Minho stopped by the office with coffees for the team, just as a thank you for putting his product into the lineup for Go Foods. And down in the cafeteria, they're still allowing the sampling of these foods for the employees during lunch to get the feedback. And so the chairman has shown up for a surprise visit because he doesn't like when people are warned and then they put on their best front. He wants to see them real,
Right.
down into the nitty gritty, what's going on with this company, which honestly, that's how it should be. But he is introduced to this white kimchi ravioli, right? Because there's a lot of hype around it. And so the chairman looks at the chart and he recognizes Hari's name and he goes, "It's that woman, the one who pushed me out of the bathroom." And he starts to go after her character. He's like, "She's just the worst. I can't believe da 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 da." And it cuts immediately to him polishing the plate off of ravioli because he's like, "There's no way it could be good if it's from Hari." And he's just like, "That was beautiful." He's like licking the plate clean. But TaeMoo sees that Hari has entered the cafeteria with Minho, and he just delivers this look toward her that could curdle milk. It was awful.
It was terrifying.
And Hari rushes Minho out the door as soon as she locks eyes with him. She's like, "Yep, let's go eat out of the cafeteria." Except first she says, oh, we should eat here so that we can get all the feedback. He goes, "It seems kind of empty, and don't you want to eat some different food?" "Excuse me." And she's like, no, it's fine. And then she sees him. She's like, "Yeah, we're out.
I need different food now."
I need different food. But as they're leaving, the chairman starts to ask about where GeumHui is because she's just so much fun to be around. And he tells TaeMoo that they need to set up a date soon so they can all get together. And meanwhile, Secretary Cha is busy fighting for his life because he's choking on his food because this is not going to end well for TaeMoo or for Hari, honestly.
Or for Secretary Cha.
But he just has to watch this train wreck happen. But TaeMoo does invite Hari to be his date at the founding anniversary ceremony, but he obviously is asking GeumHui. And so she starts to fabricate these wedding plans, and no, just kidding, it's funeral. And no, just kidding, I actually just need to go work for my company. It's going under, and everyone's desperate. But he incites the threat of the penalty fee. And she's like, "All right, well, I gotta do this." And we see YeongSeo offering up her measly contribution toward the penalty fee, and it just makes Hari even more angry. But that brings us into topic 4, which is called neighborly.
So TaeMoo is doing as he does in stress cleaning at Secretary Cha's house.
"Come to my house, please."
And he's really just offended that Hari is claiming that her company is going over because he's like, "My company is doing a great job. How dare you?" So when SungHoon walks out and asks, he asks him, "Are you wanting any food?" And TaeMoo, amongst his cleaning, has noticed there is looks like my house, piles of packages at the door of things that have been delivered. And he starts to look at the names and sees, Ta SungHoon on some of them, and then he sees there's a few that have YeongSeo, and he's like, "What is going on here? I don't understand." And this is when SungHoon tells him, "I have a new neighbor, and yes, it is that YeongSeo." And at the same time, YeongSeo and Hari are coming up from their little dinner.
Naturally.
And, going up the stairs with a scarf around Hari's face and the big sunglasses, because that's not noticeable at all.
Incognito.
Completely. But they're taking the stairs so that they don't accidentally run into SungHoon. And he is coming out of his apartment to give the packages to YeongSeo. And at the same time, he's going, "Do I just need to get an apartment for TaeMoo? That he can just go stress clean. It doesn't have to always be my house." And at the same time, as he's getting to YeongSeo's door, YeongSeo and Hari walk through, and Hari's shoved to the side. SungHoon obviously notices and pretends that he doesn't. And they have the most awkward conversation about getting the correct address because YeongSeo had accidentally put the wrong door number. And so when he goes in to like unlock the door, TaeMoo's on the floor, like cleaning the floor, and he quickly shuts the door. And YeongSeo just is trying to be neighborly and is like, "Here, take some apples for your guest." And he gets like pissed at her and is like, "You know what? Stop trying to cross the line. I have no desire to be entangled with you."
It's a little slipper.
Don't cross this line.
You crossed it. You crossed the line.
I can't believe it. Anyway.
I can't even believe it.
I can't even believe it.
A night at the museum. Two, yeah. The Smithsonian.
I just unlocked like such a deep memory. I haven't seen that movie in years.
Me neither, but that was like my siblings and I. Don't cross this line.
Don't cross this line.
Okay.
It's too late. YeongSeo is... I'm just gonna keep powering through.
Yeah.
So YeongSeo is very upset at how blunt and rude someone had been to her. And Haru is also confused because she's like, no, at work he's like super nice and he's super polite. And next door, where someone is asking TaeMoo if he's really intending to bring Hadi to the event. And when TaeMoo admits, like, yeah, I'm planning on it, someone's like, I feel bad for her. Like, the proposal was your idea. Even after finding out that she was a decoy, like, you still decided to go through with this. And on top of it, you made it sound like a threat. So, yeah, as an employee of your company, why wouldn't she want to hide that fact? And so it must be really hard for her. And this is the first time TaeMoo is seeing this new perspective of, like, oh.
I did strong arm her.
Maybe I did it a little, wrong then. And someone tells him, maybe you could forgive her for this. As an employee, she does things really, really well. And TaeMoo's like, no, she mixes business with pleasure and brings the guy that she's been chasing to work. And someone looks at him and is like, you only seem to, like, get upset whenever Shinharu is brought up. And he goes, well, she's going to be begging for mercy by the time I'm done with her. Wow, bro.
Okay, calm yourself.
This is one of the reasons why she called you an Archaeopteryx.
Yeah, somebody call a vigilante. I think that brings us into topic 5, which is called Mega Hit. So it is the next day, and the girls are getting ready in YeongSeo's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And YeongSeo and Hadi are kind of discussing, like, this lamp that came from the neighbor. And YeongSeo sort of mentions something about how... yeah, he said that it would look better in... Is this the point? Yeah, he said it would look better in the bedroom, but I just keep it out here.
Well, she hadn't even taken it out of the box. Yeah, Hari's the one who...
Yeah. So they set it. They set up the lamp. Thank you.
They set it up, yeah.
And as they leave it up next to the TV in the living room, we pan away and it looks suspiciously like it has a spy device inside of it. But it's at work, and Hadi has learned that she has been awarded the Mega Hit Award, the youngest ever to be awarded this. And it is conveniently being presented at the founding anniversary ceremony and will be awarded by TaeMoo himself.
Mm-hmm.
But she decides that after wrestling with this, do I go as Shin Hadi? Do I go as Shin GeumHui? Well, she decides, I can't afford the penalty fee. Hadi's got to ditch, and Shin GeumHui has got to show up for this thing.
Right.
And so she starts to devise her plan that, she's going to start to look sick, but it has to be gradual. That way people don't think that I'm just making up an excuse. I got to build up being tired throughout the week so that it sounds legitimate. Which I'm like, geez, that's kind of...
If only we had to build up being tired throughout the week to be like, I don't know if I can.
I got to build up to being...
Awake.
Yeah. I was literally like leaned against my couch when Ashley walked in the door at 8 o'clock.
I was a little concerned that she was getting ill and I needed to leave.
Well, yeah. No,
No.
you don't need to leave. I'm probably getting ill, but it's okay. But she's trying not to have to attend as Hadi. However, TaeMoo has taken this into consideration, and he counterattacks by inviting Hadi's family to attend. And so we cut to a scene where Hadi's family is arriving, and Hadi is sitting there as Shin GeumHui, right? And having a discussion with like the chairman and all of these things. And walks her family, and they're dressed in very, very eccentric clothes.
I'm here for it. I like it.
And Hadi is now dressed as GeumHui and trying to escape before her parents see her, or her coworkers see her. I am really killing this flow.
No, you're doing great.
So she's trying to escape for her costume change, right? Because now she's got to be Hadi and accept the award. But on her way toward the door, her mother bumps into her and goes, "Are you Hadi?" And she's trying to hide her face. She's like, no. And then she yanks her daughter up and she's like, "You're Hadi." She starts to say it extremely loudly.
Scream it.
Drawing all the attention. And Hadi starts to run away, but we realize that this is actually all a nightmare. And she envisions, like, the lights go down and she's getting dragged away at TaeMoo's orders. And she has actually fallen asleep at her workstation. And she wakes up to TaeMoo and SungHoon standing right next to her, asking for the latest sample to be provided. Well, it's burned to a crisp. And so she goes to grab the pot. She burns herself. And TaeMoo's knee-jerk reaction, his instinct is to check and see if she's okay, right? He cares about her. He may not realize it, but he has to, like, hold back. And after realizing that, he just walks out the door. But that brings us to topic 6, which is called Hard Feelings.
So TaeMoo's at home, and he's playing all of her actions over in his mind, and is pacing around himself and stops and realizes, like, why am I getting worried over her? This has never happened to me. I'm very concerned. And we see that the chairman is watching his drama, and GeumHui is being yelled at by her love interest for, not accepting help, and just, the chairman's like, wow, this drama is so narrow-minded. Okay. But then he notices that the product that is currently being shown is one of his colleagues, and he was like, oh, okay. Good for them. Maybe I should give them a call. But then we cut to YeongSeo, and she is waiting in line at this very popular restaurant where it's like first come, first serve, and there's this huge line out the door. And she's able to go in because she's there alone, and there's only like one seat available right at the time. And so she is directed to sit next to another person who had come alone, and it happens to be SungHoon. And so she's like, you know what? We just have to deal with each other. Our paths are going to cross. And honestly, it's too tiring to attempt to avoid you all the time. Like, she takes her chopstick, draws a line, and is like, as long as we don't cross this line, we're good, right?
Don't cross this line!
And gets her food, and then starts to panic because the steam is crossing the line. So she's like, bringing the steam back. You gotta stay over here.
So extra.
Same. But she apologizes because it was so rude of the steam to cross the line. And then after her drink is brought, she opens the bottle herself instead of asking for the opener, because it'd be rude to go across the line to ask for the bottle opener. And she's, going to be very good at sticking to these rules of don't cross this line. And then we cut to Hadi. And they're out for a team dinner.
I can't even believe it.
And they're all very intoxicated at this point. And, they're like, this is your ticket to a promotion, or this is your ticket to being an old unmarried woman taking a jab at their team leader. And Hottie looks at Bin and goes, well, then do you want to accept the award instead of me? And he's like, at least these other two stabbed me in the back and you just decided to, face me and then stab me in the heart. And really, Hottie is just,
genuinely doesn't want to do it.
Please just take this so I don't have to go.
Yeah.
And so, she is falling apart and is a big old mess crying at the table. And she ends up drunk calling TaeMoo.
Topic 7. I almost said 6. Topic 7 is confessions. As you said, Hottie has drunkenly called TaeMoo, and she is just lamenting her situation because it is weighing so heavily on her. But as she's calling him, she's sitting in a park. She gets distracted by the fact that there's a couple of high schoolers that are smoking cigarettes and starts to holler at them across the way. And they're just kind of like, yeah, put out the cigarettes. And she's like, how dare you throw them on the ground? And she falls off her swing while she's yelling. And TaeMoo hears on the other end her call out, and then the line goes dead. And he's thinking, oh, great, they're kicking the crap out of her because high schoolers are hooligans. These youths.
Are you the criminals?
Are you the criminals?
From the statistics?
Are you the criminals from the statistics?
Schmidt.
Oh, okay.
I'm not apologizing for that.
You shouldn't. It was amazing. But yeah, he immediately hops in his car in his sweatpants and he's like, I'm gonna help my woman. And he runs through the streets of her neighborhood. He doesn't know where she is. He just knows that the call was cut off. And so he's literally just sprinting through the streets trying to find her, going from restaurant to restaurant, really, really concerned. And he finally finds her in a park slide, just taking a nap.
Comfortable.
And he allows her to keep the facade, and he calls her GeumHui. And as he tries to help her up, she kind of nestles into his shoulder because she's not really aware of her surroundings.
Not even a little bit.
No, and she's asking if this is all a dream since she knows that he would never actually care for her in this way. And she's like, if it's a dream, I'm going to tell you a secret. And she reveals to Dream TaeMoo that she is Hottie. And he's really softened toward her situation when he sees the effect that this lie has had on her personally. And he realizes that she genuinely feels bad about the dishonesty. She just got so far into it that she couldn't back
There's
out.
no way out.
Right. And him being her boss didn't give her any options. So he does hear Hottie Hamin calling for her brother. And so he kind of sneaks off and waits in the distance, watching her, making sure that Hamin can take Hottie home. And he kind of mulls over the fact that he's just pretty much been a wad to Hottie this whole time for no really good reason.
Yeah.
And which kind of goes back to SungHoon's would you just chill out?
Can you not?
Yeah, exactly. But that brings us into topic 8, which is called long distance.
So the next morning, Hottie checks her phone and sees a message from TaeMoo saying that, to call him.
Yeah.
And so she calls him and because the message actually had said, you don't have to work for me anymore. I'm voiding our
Firing
contract. And she's like, what does that mean? He goes, that's what I mean. It's you don't work for me anymore. GeumHui no longer works for me. And then when she gets to work, she's very relieved to learn that she does not have to continue to make the new version of the kimchi ravioli, that they're just going to go with the first version. And so then we see that TaeMoo and SungHoon are actually on a plane headed to New York for a business meeting. And after the meeting, he finds himself seeing Shinhari in every situation. Every woman that passes by, he just sees her face and she's saying something about, you just went all this way to forget about me, and here you are thinking about me. So clearly, you can't run from the feelings that you have. Then we're back at Hottie's family's chicken shop, and they are celebrating, her receiving this award. And she's takes everything upstairs and just kind of sits there and is like, I really want to know what happened. how I got out of this. I mean, like, I'm relieved because
Mm-hmm.
this was kind of killing me. And then then we're back at work, and she gets a call from a number that she doesn't recognize and learns that it is the chairman calling to ask her, hey, I haven't seen you. I missed you. Can we
Let's chill.
meet? Can we hang out?
That's topic 9, which is called Exposed. So Haru is kind of questioning why TaeMoo has not yet explained their breakup to the chairman, because it is definitely broken up at this point. And she tries calling TaeMoo, and he doesn't answer her, but the chairman calls immediately after instead. But we see YeongSeo is at home drying her hair, and she just kind of casually throws her towel over the lamp that the neighbor had given her. And she, like a creeper, starts listening through the wall to see if SungHoon has come home yet. And as she turns, the lamp falls off the table and actually shatters. And it reveals the camera that had been concealed inside this whole time. Mm-hmm. And it sort of just throws her, she's reeling from this because that's terrifying to think about what may have passed in front of the camera in the privacy of your own home.
Right.
But she thinks back to the neighbor giving her the lamp and how he had stated it would function better in her bedroom than in the living room, which...
Gross.
Big ick. So she's rushing to the police with the lamp in a bag, and the neighbor, who had clearly been watching her on the camera, rushes out the door to meet her out front, in front of the building, and he notices she has the lamp, and he tries to confiscate it from her because she's like, oh, it was just broken. I needed to take it to get it fixed. And he's like, I'll do it for you. She goes, no, it's fine. Well, he grabs it. And he ends up pushing her to the ground as they're wrestling for it. And And they're kind of wrestling over it. And then SungHoon shows up. He, like, flashes his brights at the guy and is like, what are you doing? Why are you...
accosting a woman here?
Yeah, exactly. And as SungHoon walks over, that's when the neighbor shoves her to the ground and takes off. And YeongSeo explains what's happening, and so SungHoon goes after him. And the guy dumps the camera in the bushes as he's running away with the lamp. But SungHoon eventually, after, however many meters, catches him with a flying kick to the back, and a short altercation leads to his apprehension. Why am I using such big words?
Because that's what you were thinking when you typed it out.
All right, so as TaeMoo is pulling up to dinner, he calls SungHoon, who explains the situation that's happening. And TaeMoo starts to rush to his car, as, he's going to go help. And as GeumHui arrives, he starts to press her, asking, has your friend called? Has YeongSeo contacted you? And she's like, why would she be contacting me? And why is he even here, right? She's supposed to be meeting the chairman alone. Well, he's tricked both of them.
Right.
And he finally stops her and says, Shinhari, we need to go now. And she just looks at him and like, what? End of episode.
Panic!
At the disco. Character of the hour.
I have TaeMoo because, yes, he gets carried away with his petty revenge because petty. But the moment that SungHoon points out how hard things have been for Hadi, of like, you were her boss in 2 different ways. Like, what was she supposed to do? And it's not like you've been making this easy on her. He actually starts to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And after the apology that Haruhi gives what she thinks is Dream TaeMoo, he just lets everything go.
Yeah.
Of like, you know what? You're right. Like, this has been a lot. It's not like you were going out of your way to be like, what can I get out of this sucker today type of situation. And so I felt like that was a very quick maturity from, maybe it being a week of let me torment you with me. You have to make new kimchi ravioli, and then I'm going to make you show up as my girlfriend and present you, my employee, with this award. To just be like, you know what? I'm gonna let you be. And then my right behind would be SungHoon, because hello, the last scene of
Knight in shining armor.
Knight in shining armor. And then also just letting TaeMoo stress clean his house. Even though it's obviously kind of annoying to him, where he's like,
Yeah.
do I just need to buy you get you an apartment so you can clean there and just like trash it sometimes? So yes. And yours?
I think that my character of the hour, it'd probably be TaeMoo too. I think that he hit a quick growth arc, like you said, and to be able to admit the error of your ways, and I think that he's kind of got like the kindergarten schoolyard complex, where he doesn't know how to be nice to a girl that he likes, and so he's like, well, I'll just force you to be near me by doing all these things and being mean to you. Well, it's not how it works in the real world. And so
Incorrect.
I think once he realizes that he actually may have a soft spot for her, he's like, yeah, I've been going about this in the wrong way. So yeah, I think he's my character of the hour too. Final thoughts?
I like that we're not quite to the halfway point, because it's episode 5 and there's like, we're almost halfway there, and there's already been the discovery and somewhat of a resolution of the main characters of, yeah, I've been playing a part. And by the end of the episode being like, listen, I know who you are. That's not the most important thing right now. What's the most important thing is that your friend is needing help.
Yeah.
And because she's important to you, that makes it important to me. And even because she's important to SungHoon, whether he's made that obvious to TaeMoo or not.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is a problem. We're going to be there. But also, like, I kind of appreciate the attention it brings to being aware of the things that are going on in your house, of when you accept gifts from people who kind of thrust them upon you.
And tell you where to put them.
Do your due diligence and don't listen to them.
Maybe put a blanket over it for a week and see if
they say anything.
Yes.
Anyway.
I'm looking at you, hardworking cow. Wait, you've done well, cow.
Yeah, hardworking cow.
Hardworking cow. Jeez, man.
And your final thoughts.
I like that they went the direction of breeze over the big reveal. Because it doesn't necessarily need to be drawn out super, super long. I don't know what's happening. Obviously, there's still going to be that element of needing to keep up appearances to fool the chairman in some way, unless they resolve that. But I like that they're moving the plot forward, and we're not just going to sit on the fact that he doesn't know, she doesn't know, she doesn't know what he knows. You know what I mean? So we're gonna move forward.
Right. It's not the you know.
Or do you? I know that you know that I know that you know.
But do they know?
No, they don't know. So anyway, that was episode 5 of Business Proposal.
We're almost halfway there.
Yeah. Make sure to go check out our socials, interact with us there. Like Ashley said, go check out some of those polls. We would love to hear from you and see what things you're enjoying about this new format that we're doing consolidated for other shows. And if you have any other feedback for us, any show suggestions, we want to hear those too. So have a great rest of your day.
Okay, bye.
Like what you're hearing? go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. We'd love to connect with you on our Instagram at The KDrama Show. For more behind-the-scenes content, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Links are in the show notes. Thanks for hanging out with us on The KDrama Show with Ashley and Kim, and we'll see you next time.